So story time, last night we had a community event. We do these every single month in our app called Petite PWR. It's our community, our app, our fitness and nutrition app for petite women. So we do these community events every single month. We have multiple. And last night we had one where we brought in Kara Wilson. She's one of our experts. She's a registered dietitian in the Petite PWR team. And she and I we were all, with all you guys, some of you guys are probably there, talking about nutrition. And someone in the audience asked an amazing question that really got me thinking. The question was around when this person should switch from macros to intuitive eating. And Kara, our dietitian, answered by saying, intuitive eating is not just a random term that means we just eat normal, right? That's kind of though how we use it. When we say intuitive eating, we mean like eat how you normally would, right? Kara was like, intuitive eating is actually a method. There's a book for it. It came out in like the 70s or something. I'll fact check that. And it's actually like a 10-step program. And I didn't actually know that. I'm a certified nutritionist, but I didn't know the history of intuitive eating that well. And it shocked me. I started to research and I found out that intuitive eating is in fact another diet. Or is it? That's gonna be kind of the subject of this video. I wanna dive into, is intuitive eating just another diet that we've all fallen for? Is there merit to it if it is a diet? And I'm no expert on intuitive eating. Like I said, I'm not a registered dietitian. We have lots on our team. I am a certified nutritionist though, so I can speak to partly my opinion and also my education and experience on this. But yeah, I wanna dive into that because I know intuitive eating and macros it's a very, people seem to be like in one camp or the other, and really great sources of information will never tell you there's one right way. They will probably say diets aren't it, but there's often more of a blend or a balance that's right for the individual. But let's just talk about intuitive eating today and look into what it is and if it is actually just another diet or not. By the way, if you want to come to our community events and all of that stuff, you can join our app for just $1 for a 14-day trial and join us in the party. If that's of interest to you, you can do that at petitepwr.com. Okay, so where did intuitive come from, intuitive eating, the term? So I learned, little Googling, that the term intuitive eating was actually the title of a book by Evelyn Tribole and Elise Resch, published in 1995. And this was a book they wrote about this new method, intuitive eating. And I know it's a term that we just kind of use colloquially today to describe normal eating or not tracking, but it was actually a method that they released. And I guess there is some traces, these concepts that they teach in their book have appeared in other pieces of works before them, but they really coined that term. So it did come from a specific approach to eating. I think that's a really interesting thing to look into. Okay, so the book actually has 10 key principles or like steps. It's kind of like a 10-step program, which sounds a lot like a diet to me, but let's take a look at kind of what they preach. So they call it, I guess, a philosophy, and they have 10 principles, which are reject the diet mentality. That's number 1. Number 2, honor your hunger. Number 3, make peace with food. Number 4, challenge the food police. Number 5, respect your fullness. Number 6, discover the satisfaction factor. Number 7, honor your feelings without using food. Number 8, respect your body. Number 9, exercise, feel the difference. Number 10, honor your health, gentle nutrition. Now, of course, I'm just reading these and they have whole chapters on them, but they seem to have this approach that feels to me a little bit anti-diet. So in writing a 10-step program to speak out against dieting, they kind of create their own breed or genre of dieting. That is, it's a philosophy or an approach to how we look at food. Now, in speaking with the experts on the Petite PWR team, it was really cool and really interesting to learn from them last night that even if intuitive eating is the goal, it's not just a thing that we can do naturally. We're not born with this inherent education around how to choose better options at the grocery store, right? And even the foods that are available today weren't available hundreds of years ago, so it couldn't really be that intuitive, right? We're gonna have to learn it somewhere. And given everything they said in their book, those 10 commandments I kind of just read out, those are obviously, no one would really disagree with them, right? They're pretty healthy things. They're, I guess in 1995, they were kind of a new philosophy, a new way of looking at food that took the pressure off. You know, the 1990s was a totally crazy time with restriction and dieting, especially in like Hollywood and eating disorders. And so their book was probably really novel in taking some of that pressure off and seeing food and reestablishing a healthy relationship with food. And I think that's great. But I think the key thing to understand here is whether intuitive eating is just another diet or not. And it's not a diet in the sense that it's restrictive, but it's an approach to how we see food for sure. The key thing in understanding this is that intuitive eating is not just something you are born with and inherently know how to do. No matter what, there has to be some kind of education or some kind of increase in awareness to learn about your food. So that kind of means that we can't just really like pop out the womb and be like, I'm gonna intuitive eat and reach all these goals I have. I have these expectations and these goals to change my body composition. It's probably not gonna come, because even intuitive eating, or if we just say normal eating, has to be learned and has to be discovered, especially because you are so different, everyone's unique, and you have to kind of learn what works for you. So if you're someone that's trying to figure out if you should be tracking your calories, tracking your macros, or doing intuitive eating or doing something else, the answer is that there's probably a blend in there that is right for you. And no matter what path you choose, you will likely need to spend some time learning about the food groups, your macronutrient groups, and learning how to make choices that are in alignment with your goals. I will tell you what I have seen works really well over the last 6 or so years coaching petite women is using a hybrid or blend of tools and education, just really solid foundational education about nutrition, to empower you, to empower our community, our clients, to use the tools when it will serve you and not use them when they won't serve you, depending on your goals at the time or what phase of life you're in. So for example, I highly recommend if you're totally new, you just kind of start with a food journal, a food diary. And if you don't want to track it in an app where it puts numbers to it, you can totally write it down. You can just do old school pen and paper. I ate a banana today, I ate this, I ate eggs, whatever, and write it down. That is always the best place to start, because you're starting from a place of where am I at right now? What do I know about my diet right now? Now from there, what we like to do with our clients is give them a target, give them a place, a starting place as an example and as an educational reference. So for example, giving our clients macronutrient consultations. We do that in Petite PWR Premium. It's tailored, it's one-on-one. We say, here's your protein target, here's your fat target, here's your fibrous carbs target, and this would equal this number of calories. Now, this isn't the end all be all. It's not like you're gonna hit that every day or you need to be perfect, but the magic in this as a first step to learning about whether you should be tracking and how much and all these questions is, okay, you've done a food diary, so you know where you're at, and now you have a professional's recommendation for where you might want to be within a plus or minus 10 gram range. You now have a perfect playbook to say, I'm here and I need to be here. What do I need to eat more of? What do I need to eat less of to get closer to my goals? Not to be a robot and be perfect and track every morsel of food, but if you could notice that, oh wow, I am only eating 75 grams of protein per day and I need to be eating 110. That means I could, have one more portion of lean protein per day to get closer to my goal. Now, the beauty in this is that after you do that for some time, you do start to train your more intuitive, what I would call intuitive eating practice or knowledge, which is to say, I'm using it not in the terms of the book, but you start to understand what portion sizes are appropriate for you individually and how much you need of each macronutrient to feel good and feel satiated and also achieve your goals at the same time. So for our clients in Petite PWR Premium and for everyone in our community, we were talking about this last night during the session, is, okay, so as long as you start from a place of, you know, education, awareness, and seeing what you are currently doing, you can see where you need to go. And now once you practice that for maybe 2 weeks, maybe less, it depends on the person, and after some time, you're able to transition into more of an intuitive eating type of eating. I'm not saying intuitive in terms of the method or the book they wrote, but more of like a informed decision diet, which is not a diet, but you know what I mean. You're able to take your knowledge and apply it to eating without tracking at that point, kind of like what we call intuitive today, where you're just not tracking, but you're making these decisions. The point being, though, that intuitive eating is based upon like that intuition that we talk about is actually has to come from an education or some type of learning about you and the food that works for you. And when you get to that point where you're intuitively eating after going through that, like that learning phase or whatever, you get to a point where you do know what your right portions are for you. You know what foods will keep you full and satiated. You know what is going to balance your blood sugar levels. You know how much protein you need. You're able to kind of eyeball it and be in this place where you can like live your life naturally, find that harmony and that balance without tracking everything. And that's really the goal, I think, ultimately, is to have enough education to feel confident about your daily choices and also be able to see the results you want without going overboard with all the tracking and whatnot. And that is what we definitely aim to help empower our clients with in Petite PWR Premium in our community, is giving you all the tools that you need to learn what's best for you and know when to use which tool in which stage, whatever stage of your journey you are in with your health. By the way, if that type of approach is interesting to you, I would love to speak with you on the phone. If you're looking for a coach or you're looking for a coaching program, we are accepting clients into Petite PWR Premium for our July 11th session. We have our big orientation kickoff party on July 10th, and we're accepting people right now. So if you want to hop on a call and talk to me about your journey with nutrition, I would love to speak with you. It's a totally free call. You can book a call at petitepwr.com. I'll leave the link below. And you can also just join our current session that we're enrolling for if you want to hop in and get started getting that education that is tailor-made for the petite body type. If not, that's totally fine too. I also want to know from you guys what intuitive eating means to you, and if that's something you consider is your diet right now. Like, what tools are you using for your diet now, and what do you call them? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully we can have like an interesting discussion around what we're doing right now, or what we kind of name the blend of things we're using. I don't know what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments what that journey has been like for you, if you've tried intuitive eating or you have your own definition of intuitive eating. Let me know. I hope you guys love this video. If you learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content tailored to petite women. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye.